Mr. Tharoor, this is the last leg of your visit. You're wrapping it up, perhaps the most important one as well. So, quickly, if we could know what have been the high points and challenges, if any, that you have encountered so far?
Challenges, fortunately, very few. The one exception probably would have been Colombia, where we discovered that they had issued a somewhat unhelpful statement expressing heartfelt condolences to the victims in Pakistan of our strikes on that first night. That was very surprising and disappointing, and I said so at the press conference, which happily happened on the very first day. Soon after we arrived, our first event was a press conference. So I took this opportunity to express publicly, and that became a bit of a story. I also met that night at a private dinner the director dealing with Asia and Pacific in the ministry, explained our concerns. Next morning, when we met the acting foreign minister, they said we were withdrawing the statement. So that, in a sense, if you like, was a challenge overcome, and not just a challenge. Otherwise, by and large, I can't say we've been facing too many challenges. There's been tremendous receptivity to our message. And whenever there were any questions, they were very, very willing to accept our clarifications, our point of view. And by and large, we seem to have received in all 5 countries, and including the US because of our meetings on Capitol Hill today, we seem to have received unconditional solidarity in our fight against terrorism and complete understanding for why Operation Sindoor was necessary and the way in which we conducted it.
So, in this whole trip, you have personally been at the center of the attention, particularly also because of how your own party members have at certain points criticized on some of the statements you made. Now you're going back home. What will your message be to those party leaders?
I think, frankly, when one is doing the nation's service, I don't think one needs to worry too much about these things. I noticed that my friend Salman Khurshid has asked the question, is it so difficult to be a patriot in our country these days? And I think anybody who sort of considers that working in the national interest is some sort of anti-party activity really needs to question themselves rather than us. But, you know, I honestly feel at this point in time that we are focused on a mission here, and we don't really need to spend too much time worrying about what is said or not said in the heat of the moment by various individuals, because for us the focus really is on this much larger and more important message. When the time comes, we'll deal with all these matters.
So all sort of social media is buzz about Shashi Tharoor, what he's going to do when he comes back to India. Will he be continuing to be with Congress? Will he join the BJP? What is the next thing for him?
I'm an elected member of Parliament. I have 4 years left of my term. I don't know why there is any question to be asked at the moment.
Rahul Gandhi, your leader, has also sort of criticized the Prime Minister on Trump, saying that he just got one call and that was it. Your message here has been completely different. So how would you reconcile with that?
In a democracy, and this is normal, parties will contend, criticisms will be expressed, demands will be made, points of view will be laid out. We are not here on a party political mission. We are here as representatives of a united India. I often point out to my interlocutors that we have 5 political parties amongst my 7 MPs, and we would have had a 6th one if a lady hadn't dropped out at the last minute. We've got 3 religions, we've got 7 states. It's an incredible cross-section reflective of India's diversity, and yet we've come with a united message. So there is unity in diversity as well in this group. And to my mind, our focus has to be on that unified message, because when it comes to national interest, when it comes to national security, honestly, I think by and large the nation is united. And there is an old saying that our political differences stop at the edge of the border. Once you cross the border, you are Indian, and your other allegiances come second.
You faced all sort of questions here. One of them, which was particularly peculiar, was the name of Operation Sindoor. Why do you think that question should even come to the mind of anybody, and what was your response?
I understand that some people thought it was somewhat patriarchal, and I thought I should explain very clearly there's no patriarchy involved here. This is a matter of pride and honor for women. And I've met many women who think that it was a superb name to apply.
Okay, so now you get going back. One way of looking at it is also that the feedback that you can give back to the country in India. So what would that be?
Well, actually, I thought we'll have a much more complex feedback to give than we're getting. I mean, I would say the big themes that have emerged, first of all, is a great deal of comprehension, unconditional solidarity and support. Some have also noted that if this happens again, India will have the right to act again like this. In addition to that, in every country, there's been a larger interest in strengthening relations with India, a larger interest in Indian investment, Indian technology, Indian cooperation on a host of issues. In the developing countries, they want our expertise. Guyana, for example, we already have somebody helping setting up their forensic lab. They want us to come in and help with all sorts of other new development. They've got a lot of money coming in from oil and gas, and they're inviting India and Indians to come with labor attached to come and do the work and get things done, because they're a very small country of about 700,000 population. If you go to a country like Panama, they're trying to be more ambitious in terms of their outreach. They're offering themselves as a base for the rest of Central and South America. They want India to sort of rediscover the potential of Panama. You go to Colombia, even though, as I said, it started off slightly on an awkward foot, thereafter it all went extremely well. Conversations are first rate. And that was one place where we had a group of think tankers sitting and talking to us. And their vision for the future of Colombia includes a vision for the future of India in the region. Mm-hmm. So, everywhere we're going, Brazil, of course, is already a close friend. We are already discussing a bilateral agreement on terrorism and organized crime. So again, if you go one after the other, you're seeing nothing but positive messaging. So I wish I could go back to India and say, we have a challenge there, we have a problem here, we have to do this there. I'm going back saying, boy, we got exactly what we, would have fantasized about before we left, if this is what we were going to get. And it went very well. Now, in the US right now, the story is not over. There's still a couple of days to go. But the first day, terrific responses on the Hill. Really outstanding. And we'll see what the rest is like.
The delegation hasn't, so far directly answered the question on Trump. How do you address that?
I'm not necessarily having to address it, Shuja, because I'm not here to stir up any sort of complications in our relationship with the White House. We have enormous respect for the American presidency and for the American president. And I think, we don't know exactly what his folks said to Pakistan. We didn't need persuading by anybody, because our signal from day one was, if Pakistan hits back, we will hit them even harder. If they stop, we will stop. We said that from the first day, we said it on the last day. The whole thing lasted only about 88 hours. So from our point of view, there was no need to ask us to stop, because we were going to stop as soon as Pakistan did. Of course, they may have talked to Pakistan, they may have said various things to Pakistan. We will never know what was said, because that's between them and Pakistan. And that may well explain a lot of what is coming out in Washington, but I can't tell you, because I'm not Pakistani and I'm not American.
Well, last thing, there has been a terrible accident in Bangalore.
Oh yeah,
people have lost lives. You tweeted also about it.
Yes.
What would you have to say about that?
I think it's absolutely tragic. I mean, the saddest thing about the excitement and buzz of our population is that we are not terribly good at crowd control, whether it's in melas or festivals, whether it's in religious gatherings, or in this case, a cricket celebration. When you read of loss of life, you feel such sadness, because this is so unnecessary. But I just can't. I just can't say more than that, other than my heart really goes out to the families. Imagine sending your young son out, expecting him to be cheering for his favorite team, and he comes back as a lifeless corpse. You can imagine the families, what they're going through. I'm really, really pained by it. It's so very sad. And I think somehow or the other we'll have to develop different approaches, crowd management, crowd control, numbers in certain places and so on. Paradoxically, because we're such a populous country, we take pride in the fact that largest this in the world, largest stadium, largest festival, largest religious gathering, everything is largest in India. We shouldn't also have the largest numbers of people dying in stampedes.
So would you have any advice for your colleagues who are running that state?
Look, I think they will do what is necessary. I'm convinced they're a very, very hardworking and professional government. I know some of the ministers are first-rate people. They will certainly do what is necessary. But the tragedy is, of course, that it happened at all. We will learn lessons from what happened, and we will presumably take steps to ensure it doesn't happen again. But what a shame that it happened. What a sad, sad thing.